Let me tell you something wild right off the bat sometimes. The people you see mopping the floors, the ones you ignore, are the very folks who built the building you work in. Yeah, that happened, and you wouldn't believe the show I put on, all for the sake of exposing the rot that was spreading under everyone's nose. I'm not talking about a story I heard. I lived this one. My name? They call me Jay, said I looked worn down, lucky to get a job cleaning up their messes. Not one of them realized I was Jackson Lee, a founder, the CEO they'd only ever seen on magazine covers years ago, the name that quietly vanished from the corner office, from the boardroom, from the headlines. And all that was by design, because if you want to see the truth, sometimes you have to disappear into the background and watch, eyes wide open, mouth shut. I picked that rundown branch on purpose. The air stank of something more than bleach. It reeked of fear, and something even darker, corruption. The guy running things? Victor, a real snake with a grin you could feel through the walls, though he hardly ever showed his face. The higher the stakes, the quieter I kept, because the plan only worked if everyone believed I was nobody. First day, they tossed me a mop, didn't say a word, barely looked at me. Brenda, the floor boss, gave me the graveyard shift every night. No help, no break, just a muttered old man now and then. You'd think I would get to a guy, but in OI needed to stay invisible. What got to me wasn't the dirt under my fingernails. It was the silence, the way everyone seemed to know things didn't add up, but nobody dared say it out loud. Inventory vanished, records lost, supplies came and went like magic. When I asked, Brenda just rolled her eyes, said it happened all the time. Too many times. I started tracking the pattern. The numbers never matched, but no one checked. They weren't sloppy, they were hiding something. And everything pointed to Victor. I couldn't move too fast, or they'd freeze me out, erase the evidence. So I kept my head down and watched every mistake, every insult, every after-hour shipment log with a hidden mic in my collar and a tiny camera in my badge. I wasn't just collecting gossip, I was building a trap. You know what's funny? The more harmless I acted, the more they piled on extra shifts, broken equipment, mistakes that somehow landed on me. Brenda started marking me late on days I was early. Mark and maintenance blamed me for every breakdown. It wasn't just mean-spirited, it was systematic. They wanted folks like me, the ones who asked questions, to give up. I'd seen it before. Most people looked right through me, but not all. One day, a quiet inventory clerk named Sarah left a coffee on my cart. No words, just kindness. In a place that cold, that's a miracle. Later, another guy, Leo, tough hands, tired eyes, nodded to me in the break room. "Keep your head down," he said under his breath. "Don't ask about the numbers." Didn't have to tell me twice. But he left a broken barcode sticker for me to find when I scanned it. I found a secret folder buried deep in the system. Unsigned shipments, wrong weights, missing receipts. Some folks, they'd had enough. Still, the pressure mounted. Mark called me in, voice all cold and businesslike, said I was slow, asked too many questions. Maybe this wasn't the job for me. That's how you know you're hitting a nerve, right? But I kept quiet, played dumb, let them think I was harmless. Sarah whispered about late-night shipments with no logs, Brenda signing off on them alone. Leo finally told Mayhaid, try to report weird deliveries. Got his hours cut, his shift moved. That's all I needed to know. The system didn't ignore truth, it punished it. Time to dig. I planted recorders behind shelves, under tables, invents nothing fancy, just enough to catch the real conversations. Victor's name started slipping out more often, always in whispers. One day they accused Leo of stealing wrong section, bogus claim. But I'd rerouted the security feed, sent the proof to HR. Next day, accusation gone. Leo never even knew who cleared his name. I asked Sarah if it had happened before. She told me about Miguel, a good guy, asked too many questions, reported missing stock. A week later, transferred without warning. That's how they did it, not by yelling, by erasing you. That night, I forgot to scan a box, sent it to the wrong shelf. Mark came in, furious, barked out the real process for off-the-book shipments, not knowing my recorder picked up every word. Mistakes are useful when you make them on purpose. Then late at night, I caught Brenda on the phone. Victor says push the night batch. No paperwork, no scan. She laughed, said the new guy me was too slow to notice. But I heard every word, got it all on tape. They got suspicious, Move me to a new section, fewer people, more sealed boxes, pre-signed forms, fake labels. I was right where I wanted to be, in the heart of the rot. Found shipments labeled cleaning supplies, full of phone chargers. Crates arriving hours after their official entry. I saved everything, screenshots, logs, locked it up with more passwords and cents. The deeper I dug, the clearer it got. This wasn't neglect, this was organized crime. One night, I dropped my badge outside a restricted room, waited, came back later, and found Victor himself poking through the crate I'd flagged. No clipboard, no witnesses. Now I didn't just have suspicion, I had evidence. For weeks, I'd been piecing together audio, video, falsified logs. The quiet part was over now came a strike. Victor walked through the lunchroom one day, voice just loud enough, somebody's poking around, times don't match, no names, but everyone heard. I kept my head down, but inside I knew the net was closing. Next, Brenda handed me a clipboard full of wrong info, obvious trap, hoping I'd mess up and give them a reason to fire me. I followed the script just enough to look clumsy, caught all on camera. When Mark tried to pin the blame, I already had proof I'd been set up. I set the final stage recorders running, cameras hidden. I knew the confrontation was coming. Sure enough, Victor called me in, Brenda and Mark waiting smug. "Let's talk about your mistakes," Victor said. I played the part confused, scared, said I was just trying to do my job. Victor leaned in, "You don't want to make enemies here. People who talk don't last." Every word was recorded. I nodded, mumbled, let them keep talking. Later, after hours, they met in a locked office. Not knowing my recorder was already there, he seemed too much, too many mistakes. We end this quietly. Now I had conspiracy, not just bullying. I pressed the button on my badge. Files flew to my legal team. Off-site backups triggered. By the time they noticed, it'd be too late. The next day, they handed me a form, sign it. Walk away, no police, no headlines. "And if I don't?" I asked. "We ruin you," Victor said. Brenda named the others they'd pushed out. I just listened. Every word another noose. 3 seconds on the clock, I pressed my sleeve, lights flickered, a screen powered up behind them, and there I was, Jackson Lee, not Jay, not a janitor, but the CEO, staring back at them. My voice played over footage, Brenda screaming, Mark forging, Victor threatening. Every crime has a consequence. Security officers stepped in, called their names, Victor, Brenda, Mercury under investigation. No shouting, just quiet, final footsteps as the game ended. A week later, I stood in front of everyone, no disguise. I thanked those who stayed, honest people like Sarah and Leo. I handed them new roles, not because they were loud, but because they did right when no one was looking. You want to know how you fix something broken? Not by punishment, but by showing folks that kindness and honesty still matter, even if you're the only one who sees it. The company felt different, not perfect, but real, alive. That's how you beat corruption, not by screaming, but by outlasting, outsmarting, and letting the truth speak for itself. So, tell me, if you were in my shoes, would you risk everything to expose the truth, even if it meant losing it all? Or would you keep your head down, let the rot keep spreading? Drop a comment below. I want to hear where you draw the line between silence and justice.